Picture an ordinary morning. You reach into a coat you haven't worn since winter and find a folded $10 bill. It gives you a small, pleasant lift. By lunch, you've probably forgotten it even happened. Now picture a second morning. You pull out your wallet, and a $10 bill slips out of your hand, flutters into a storm drain, and is gone. Same amount of money, same you, but that second morning ruins the next hour. That lopsided feeling is not a personal flaw. It is a highly reliable, measurable glitch in how the human mind calculates value. Your internal logic simply does not balance. For a long time, standard economic textbooks assumed that people weigh equal gains and losses symmetrically. Look at the scale. The assumption was that gaining $100 and losing $100 sit on an even one-to-one plane. But offer a person a fair coin flip. Tails, you win $100, heads, you lose $100, and almost nobody takes the bet. The potential loss slams the scale down. To make the average person comfortable risking a $100 loss, the potential win usually has to climb to $200. The win must be mathematically doubled to make the risk feel acceptable. In 1979, psychologists Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky documented this exact asymmetry. They named this rigged system loss aversion, building it into a broader framework called prospect theory. This bias has been successfully replicated across 19 countries and 13 languages. It is a universal feature of human decision-making, and the research mapping it out eventually earned a Nobel Prize in economics. That 2-to-1 ratio is a biological math living inside your gut, quietly manipulating the choices you make every single day. You can watch this math dominate financial markets. Investors consistently fall into the disposition effect, a behavioral trap where they refuse to sell a sinking stock. They hold on because selling makes the paper loss real, and the fear of feeling that loss overrides the clear financial signal to exit. The math holds up in the grocery aisle, too. In the early 80s, researchers tracked how shoppers reacted to the fluctuating price of eggs. This chart highlights the asymmetry perfectly. When egg prices fell by 10%, demand rose by a mild 3%. But when prices rose by that exact same 10%, demand plunged by nearly 8%. The pain of paying more pushed people away over twice as hard as the pleasure of a discount pulled them in. This brings us to the endowment effect. In a classic experiment, researchers handed out coffee mugs to half a room. After just 2 minutes of ownership, the people with the mugs demanded roughly twice as much money to sell them as the buyers were willing to pay. Marketers exploit this glitch constantly. It's why building a pizza from a fully loaded model and removing toppings results in a more expensive order than starting with a plain crust and adding them. It is also the engine behind the free trial. The moment you apply the word mine to an object or a service, your brain instantly shifts the math. Subtraction registers as pain. Look at this comparison of national organ donation rates. Some countries sit near 15%, while similar neighbors hover above 90%. The difference is whether the form has you checked by default to opt out or unchecked by default to opt in. People simply take the default. This is status quo bias. We stick to what is already selected because actively changing it registers to the brain as giving something up. And the stakes go far beyond paperwork. Take a man named David, who realizes 3 years into accounting training that he hates the field. Instead of switching paths, he finishes the program and spends a decade miserable, all to avoid feeling like he lost his tuition and time. The tuition money was already gone, but loss aversion uses the sunk cost fallacy to lock him in. It takes the sharp, sudden pain of a realized loss and stretches it into manageable, long-term installments of unhappiness. The math even maps onto our relationships. Psychologist John Gottman found a single sharp, critical remark between couples requires about 5 warm, kind remarks just to undo the damage. Whether evaluating a career or a marriage or a mortgage, the human mind keeps a rigged ledger. The bad is mathematically heavier than the good. When you are caught in this loop, loss aversion feels like wisdom. It feels like a protective instinct. But that feeling is actually a highly fragile illusion. This chart of a stock dropping from $50 to $30 shows an aggressive red zone of financial pain. But the boundary between gain and loss does not exist in reality. It depends entirely on a subjective reference point. the $50 baseline you mentally anchored to. To a new investor walking in today, there is no red zone. $30 is just a neutral price because their reference point starts right now. The fear of loss is just a mathematical reaction to an invisible line you drew yourself. And anything you drew, you can redraw. You can actively override the bias with 3 steps. First, reframe the choice as a gain. Changing "I might lose this money" to "I am freeing up capital to put somewhere better" flips the emotional weight of the exact same action. Second, reset your reference point to the present. Stop anchoring on the price you paid or the time you already spent. Those are ghosts. Make your decision based strictly on what you have today. Third, use the endowment breaking question. Look at the subscription, the stock, or the career you are clinging to and ask, if I did not already own this, would I go out and acquire it right now at today's price? If the answer is no, holding on is just loss aversion making the choice for you. The fear of losing is simply a biological number. The moment you can see the math, you hold the wheel. If this gave you a new lens on your own choices, hit that subscribe button. Every week, we take one powerful idea from a great study and hand it to you in under 10 minutes. A like genuinely helps more people stumble onto these tools. Share this with one friend who keeps holding a losing bet, whatever their version of that is. They will recognize themselves in it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.